Hello and welcome to Skywood's family video, A Gentle GPS. My name is Mark Lundholm, and I've had the privilege of working with this facility for many years now. I've done hundreds and hundreds of hours over a 30-year period, working with families, felons, astronauts, adolescents, college students, adults, guests, grandparents, people who are under the duress and stress of the powerful process of recovery from addiction. What I'd like to offer you today, as a family member or loved one, is a gentle suggestion and healthy direction to begin to repair that fracture that's occurred because somebody you know and love, somebody in your family, someone close to you, someone who depends on you and you depend on, is an addict or an alcoholic. I have a way to deal with all of that in a special group I do. So, to help you with the faith and support of Skywood, I've listed some of the things you can do to take care of yourself while they are taking care of your family member who's addicted. The first thing I want you to understand is that you did your best. The family always does their best. And the best they could do was direct their son, daughter, parent, friend, loved one toward a hopeful, helpful place of recovery. The facility is going to treat the disease. I'm going to show you how to treat you well and better in that process. Addiction is very rarely what we think it is in the beginning. It's not a moral issue. It's not an immoral choice. It's not necessarily a criminal intent or a broken promise. Addiction is a force of nature. It's like a hurricane or a tornado or a tsunami. Those three forces of nature, natural disaster scenarios, they have one thing in common. You can't stop them with love or money or good intentions. You can't willpower them away. Addiction is a natural force of the universe that says, I'm going to take everything you offer me and ask you for more. Now, tell me that doesn't sound familiar in your recent history. We do the best we can to love that person through or talk to them well. If I can just say it right, maybe they'll finally hear me. A tornado doesn't care what you think, what you say, what you do for a living. It doesn't care about your belt size, your birthday, your biblical preference if you have one, where you point your prayers or your potential. It doesn't have feelings. No. The feelings are all yours, and I'm willing to bet that you've spent a ton of time in pain lately. We are dealing with a force of nature that takes. Now that sounds familiar, I know. Addicts take more than their share, more than they're entitled to. The definition of a codependent, enmeshed family member who's being drawn into that black hole of addiction is this. I use up all my talent, tools, time, trust on them. And neither one of us is benefiting or growing healthy from that interaction or the donation of those gifts. Neither one of us is doing well right now. The addict is addicted to that substance. I'm addicted to them. I give everything I have. They give away everything they are. And neither one of us are getting any better or having any sort of peace or resolution. I know, right? My entire family is in the addiction business on the unsafe side. I treat people. I've been sober since 1988. I know how to stay stopped when it comes to the addict call. The bottle or bag that says, this is better than communication with your family, and hey, I'm here for you all the time. That chemical abuse, that chemical substance that says, be with me and not with the family. Being sober for me just means it's safer for me and everyone around me. Now, here's a nice statement to have in your pocket. I can't take you when you're not sober because we're no longer safe when you're not sober. Sober is safer and you're not. I need you to get some help. These are the kinds of conversations I've had to have with my own family members. And I'll help you with some of those same conversations coming up here in a couple of minutes. Boundary here. Your enforcement of self-care in every situation does not mean abandonment of the addict you love. Self-care and abandonment are not the same thing. I draw a hard line, a firm boundary for me. That's self-care. I need that. I can't care more for them than I do for me. Sounds selfish, doesn't it? Well, once addiction is introduced into a family dynamic, a lot of the rules of society have to change. A lot of us are taught you have to be there for your family. You need to be there for your friends. You can't not support them. You have to be available. Well, how has supportive, present, and being there for them worked so far? If you're at this doorway, Skywood's doorway, guess what? We're going to learn self-care. They will be taught self-care. And now there are two people in the relationship who are being cared for. Now we can connect on the common ground of, I'm in self-care, you're in self-care. Let's have a conversation about some of the other things we need to talk about. Point 2 for dealing with addiction is, it's nobody's fault. Now, take a big breath here, calming down from the reaction you may have experienced when I said it's nobody's fault. Let's concentrate on the word fault. A hurricane, a tsunami, a tornado is nobody's fault. They happen naturally. Addiction happens naturally. Now, I didn't say no one gets hurt. I didn't say no one needs to be held accountable, that there is no responsibility assigned to an addict's behavior. I didn't say that. But if we keep using the word fault, ours, theirs, someone's fault, we stay in the disease and the pain and the blame and the shame. Dealing with this condition, we learn to replace it's your fault or it's my fault with what's my part? Here's my part. Here's your part. At this delicate point of an addicted family relationship, we all have a part in this. How many days, ways, money, keys, love, patience, attention? How many things have you given the addict that they don't have anymore? And as a brokenhearted family partner or member, you're running out of, especially trust. What we can learn how to do is our part. We call this #BeFirst. #BeFirst, meaning I'm the most important person in my life. Sounds very selfish, right? Well, it turns out that #BeFirst is not self-centered. It's the best way to be a centered self. If we're willing to ask ourselves, what's my part? And my part is self-care. I need to be healthy enough so that I survive this situation no matter what the addict does. I grow, survive, and thrive even if the addict does not. Take a breath here, because this may be the hardest thing for you to hear today. They may not make it. It would be dishonest for me to tell you otherwise. They may not make it, but you can and you must. You maintain your self-care and firm boundaries, and you will be taking care of that child in your chair. Even by example, it's a great lesson you're trying to teach or help someone learn. I'm the most important person in my life today. That is at least authenticity, balance, power, and the very best GPS coordinate to a safer way to navigate recovery in the family. Here's what I've learned to say, and it's a very important thing for you to say also. Look, I love you, care about you, want to be there for you. I will be the fastest second person to help you ever. But you have to be the first one to help you. I'll give you my all just as soon as I see you give yours. I'll be second because right now I'm making sure that I survive even this conversation. I've seen all of this work over and over in the groups I've done. I've worked with inmates and soldiers and corporate communities and kids caught in the crossfire of addiction. I've worked with thousands of treatment centers or full-force recovery facilities, and millions of addicted individuals. These techniques and new languages will provide great healing and hope and a new source of energy, fuel for your family, if you will. How empty are you at the end of the day where you gave everything to them and they still wouldn't quit? You can repair where necessary using self-care for the child in your chair and prepare as needed for any future threat of relapse or a refusal to keep going in a healthy direction, because an addict just doesn't want to stay in recovery and we can't do it for them. Skywood and Mark Lundholm are happy to help you help yourself. We do this for ourselves with each other. Welcome to the family. Let's take a look at the current relationship you're in now with an addict or an alcoholic. Addict, alcoholic, tomato, tomato. They're addicted to a substance or a destructive behavior that's become potentially deadly. You can't stop loving them. Let's take a closer look at what the word love means. Now, I'm inviting you to do this. This is a suggestion, but I've never seen it fail when it comes to addiction and codependency and the relationship that's just not working anymore. Okay, here's what I'd like you to do. Take a piece of paper and a pen, pencil, crayon, paper. We're going to write this exercise. It works. I hope you'll take a risk and do this with me here. Write the word love at the top of the page. Write the word love. Now underneath that, vertically, put the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. In those spaces next to the numbers, write want, need, use, and serve. I'll say that again. Number 1, want. Number 2, need. Number 3, use. Number 4, serve. Now, let's take a big breath here. I want you to look at that page of paper. Something magic about writing on paper. It comes out of the brain, that thought you have, that message you want to send, down the arm, through the hand, through the ink, out the pen, and falls onto the paper. It's pretty hard to discount the truth when it's right there in front of our own eyes. So here we go. Cross out the word love at the top of the page. Cross it out. Take the next couple of seconds to look at want, need, use, and serve. Which one of those? Put a check mark by each one of those that works better to describe the relationship you're in right now with that loved one, alcoholic addict. Put a check mark next to the one that works better for them in their relationship with a chemical substance or a behavior that's no longer working. Want that. Need that, use that, serve that. Doesn't it sound more truthful when we get rid of a word love, which we all intended to have, and go to words that are more truthful to describe our current situation? We are out of balance, and the word love is a word we wish was true and we once understood. Love? Not lately. I'm more of a doormat sitting there on the front porch. I'm not even in the house where it's safe and warm. No. I'm outside wearing all that stuff I feel has been wiped on me, waiting for the addict to come home. Please, please let them make it home. Remember to breathe here. You can do this. The solutions and techniques we've discussed here, #BeFirst, self-care, firm recovery boundaries, care for the child in your chair. These all work very well unless we stop practicing them. Because here's the secret that's no longer a secret to you now. The addict knows that when a family member draws a hard line and tells the addict not to cross it, when that line is crossed, it doesn't get moved. It disappears. The family member in their behavior has just told a substance abuser, when I make a stand, I won't keep my word. I don't really mean what I said. From now on, let's at least keep your word to yourself, okay? Respect, honor, love, care, and commitment to you, from you. One of the things I want to hand you as an antidote, a not to do item, something we stop doing. An antidote for being codependent or enabler or family member who just can't stop giving. And as that family member, I'm exhausted at 5 p.m. because I haven't thought about me all day. I've been focused on the addict and nothing else. So we slow down. The art of slowing down is one of the best things a family can do. If we slow down, we can grow up, step up, speak up, show up for yourself. You breathe. Just breathe. You have airbags in your car that inflate and expand to protect you from an injury or pain, right? You have airbags in your chest that inflate to protect you as well. The difference is your lungs draw the air in, expand, protect, provide space before a collision or an injury can occur. It's preemptive to breathe. We slow down, we breathe, we are safer, especially when dealing with the disease of addiction. Most people have an extremely difficult time trying to wrap their heads around the concept of a chemical condition that just keeps killing young people, good people, smart people, our people. So see if I can help you here. Consider this option. Addiction is a cancer, truly. Cancer eats away at the body, mind, and spirit of the person who has it and the family that loves them during that process. Addiction is no different. And like every cancer on earth, addiction has 4 stages. 1, use. 2, abuse. 3, lose. 4, repeat. And repeat is terminal. Drugs, alcohol, trust, money, time. An addict will use it all, abuse it all, lose it all, and repeat as soon as possible. Repeat relapse addictive behavior is eventually terminal. The one thing, though, that makes addiction unique from all other cancers, if you're an addict, you have the only disease on the planet that kills you with your permission. Repeated relapse and recidivism becomes suicide on layaway. So, there you have it. Some of the highlights and lowlights of the world you've entered as a loving, giving family member of an addicted individual. There are so many highlights you've yet to experience if you'll follow some of what you've seen here and put it into daily practice. Do it today. Do it for you. I believe you're worth it.